Hello guys, this is Lydia, the lifestyle coach. Welcome to another live feed. Oh, headset. So fun to have you guys here. Welcome, welcome. So I am Lydia, the lifestyle coach, ender of eating disorders. What we do here is we end eating disorders using nothing but your brain. And today we're going to talk about something that comes up not just with ending eating disorders, but in all sorts of areas of life. And it's just so important to be able to understand this, because if we don't understand what's going on here, then it will keep us stuck in a cycle over and over. In fact, it'll have us chasing something that is never going to work. And I've seen women with 20 years, 30 years of an eating disorder just because of this one thing that they didn't understand. So we're going to address it today. And that is the placebo effect that happens when we try to end eating disorders. So really, this is what happens. At the beginning, you're looking for an answer, right? Like this weird thing is happening with your eating. And so you're looking for an answer. And so you keep trying things. I mean, that's the natural thing to do. Like that's what you would want to do to end this, is find the solution, right? So you're trying thing after thing, and then you find something and you just do great. Like you feel so much better. Hi guys, so fun to have you on. Feel free to ask questions, say comments, let me know if this resonates with you. And yeah, we have a great topic today. So fun to have you guys here. Okay, so you're doing really amazing on your plan and you just see progress, right? And you find something and you finally feel free. Like it finally just feels really amazing. Like, oh my gosh, I found it. Like I feel different than before. My urges to binge are going away. Like it just feels really, really good. And you have hope. You have hope maybe for the first time in a long time that you found something, because you feel different. And it happened quickly, right? It's like you started this thing and you feel so much better so quickly. And it's the first time that you've discovered this and you're like, okay, it finally clicked. I finally found it. And then it comes back. Your eating disorder comes back worse than ever. But you have that memory. You have that memory of how good that felt when you first did that thing. And so what happens is, we start trying to chase the magic, right? It's like we want that magic back. And so we try something else. But then that one thing really, really felt good. So we go back to that thing. We're like, man, if I could just make that feel the same again. But then it gets worse every time we come back around to it, and it comes crashing down again. And it starts really getting really confusing. So for instance, this is a really common thing that comes up is like, man, when I just cut out carbohydrates for the first time, I cut out carbs and I felt so good. Like the urges to binge went away. My cravings went away. I lost 50 pounds. Like I felt so amazing. And what's so weird is like, I know that works. Here's a big thing that comes up. This is a big indicator for you to know that you're stuck in the cycle of, I know what works. It's just that I've got to get myself to do it again. I'm going to say that again. Oh, I know what works. I've just got to get myself to do it again, because it worked before. Like, I did the thing and I cut out all the carbs and I felt so good. And so even though that hasn't worked the past 25 times that we've tried it again, we have this idea in our mind of that time that it did work, that first time where it felt so easy and where it felt so effortless. And so we go back around to it. Well, I'll just try it again. Right? Definition of insanity is doing the same thing over and over that doesn't work and expecting a different result. But what we're expecting is that same result of how it felt the first time, when it was easy, when it all worked out, and we just want to go and we want to find that again. But here's the problem, is that because that thing worked that first time that we tried it, and it's not working anymore, what's the different variable here? Us, right? Well, I know that thing works, but now I'm not working. Now there's something wrong with me. And that's one reason why so many of the people that we work with come to us with this idea that they're broken. Because, well, it's just me that can't stick to that thing that worked the first time. So it must be something broken with me. It must be something wrong with me. And that brokenness leads into the cycle as well. Because all these things worked when you first tried them, but now you don't work. You just keep falling off the wagon. The thing that you did the first time for 6 months, you can only do for 3 days now. And you're like, okay, well, there's got to be something wrong with me. Maybe it's that I don't have any willpower. Maybe I just need to find the right thing, right? Like maybe I was getting close. Like there are just elements of that and I'm getting really close. And so I just need to keep looking. I just need to, okay, I'll try this and I'll try that. And maybe this is another better way to cut out carbs. And that's just one example. It can really, that's the thing. We're going to talk about that. It can really be anything. But we have this idea of we just need to find the right thing. And this is how women spend 20 years with an eating disorder, is because they're chasing that magic of how it felt the first time that they did that diet, how they felt the first time that they lost the weight, how they felt the first time they got hypnotized, or whatever it is. Literally pick anything out of a hat. And wow, it felt so good that first time. And now I've just got to find that again. And what it does is it keeps us just, like an inch away, like this feeling like, oh, I'm just an inch away from finding the solution because I felt what it's like to be free. I know what it's like to be free. I know what it's like to have something click and then just the eating disorder just melted away. And yeah, it didn't last. Yeah, it came back worse than ever. But I know what freedom feels like. So I just got to find that again. And so we try this and we try that. And it takes decades of our life because we feel like we're just almost there. So hi guys, welcome. So fun to see so many of you popping on. This is Lydia, the lifestyle coach. We are ending eating disorders using nothing but your brain. And we're talking about this phenomenon that really keeps us stuck in this cycle, which is chasing that magic of like the first time when you really felt like it worked. Okay, so this is something that our clients say all the time is just like, oh yeah, it worked. It just didn't last. And it's that little glimpse of hope that actually keeps us from doing anything that works because we keep on wasting time going back to that thing because we felt that magic that one time. So here's the thing, is that there is nothing wrong with you. This is called the placebo effect. So for those of you who don't know what the placebo effect is, it's like this beneficial thing that happens by, they talk about it a lot like in the drug industry, right? So it's like, any sort of drug or treatment that, and this is like the official definition, that cannot be attributed to the properties of the placebo itself and must therefore be due to the patient's belief in the treatment. So to break that down, it's essentially like giving somebody a sugar pill and then they feel so much better. Like, oh man, I feel so much better, because they don't know it was a sugar pill. They don't know that it was nothing, that there was no medication. But all of a sudden, because they think that it's medication, because they're convinced that it's something that's going to work, our brains are really powerful and they can think that something works. Like there are people who, they've done these studies, they're probably not very ethical, but these studies of when they actually did surgery on people and changed nothing. They cut them open, they sewed them back up, and then that thing that was giving them pain is just gone. Oh, the surgery worked. And nothing happened. It's the placebo effect. Oh, thanks for your comments, you guys. Yes, so fun to see you on. So glad this is what you needed to hear today. Beautiful. Okay, so that's the placebo effect. A good example of this is like when a kid wants a Band-Aid, right? They're just like, oh my gosh, I bumped my elbow. I need a Band-Aid. I need a Band-Aid. I need a Band-Aid. My elbow hurts. I need a Band-Aid. And you, as the adult, knows that putting a Band-Aid on their bumped elbow is going to do nothing. It has no beneficial effect to put a Band-Aid on a bruise and for them to feel better. But guess what happens? When you give the kid a Band-Aid, oh, thanks, Mom. Oh, I feel so much better. Oh, my elbow is hurting so bad. I'm so glad you gave me a Band-Aid. But the Band-Aid didn't do anything. What did something was their brain did something. They believed that something was going to work. And so they are literally, like the placebo effect is a real thing. Like people literally feel better. They literally feel less pain. But here's the thing about the placebo effect is that it doesn't last. And as soon as you don't believe it, then the spell is broken because that effect didn't actually fix anything. That effect just made them feel better. So do you guys see what's happening? That first magical time when you thought that if you just cut out carbs and lost the weight, that it was going to fix your eating disorder and it was going to fix your relationship with food. And it worked. You did it. You dropped 50 pounds and it was easier than anything you've done in your life. But then your eating disorder comes back and you gain all the weight back and it's worse than ever. And then you think there's something wrong with you. But what was actually wrong is you did a thing that created the placebo effect. And you're not going to believe it more than once. Because now you don't just have the evidence of like, oh, I did that thing and now I'm magically, cured. Now you have the evidence of, oh, but something happened and then I started binging again and I gained all the weight back. You're not broken. It's just that you didn't do something that was lasting. You were just riding the high of the placebo effect. Hi, guys. Thanks for all the hearts and the likes, and that's awesome. Okay, so here's what we actually need to do. Because with the placebo effect, it never lasts because the thing you're doing doesn't fix the problem. And that is why we go from thing to thing. We're essentially trying to find the placebo effect again. And we do. You guys will find something really off the wall, like, oh my gosh, I met this person and it sounds a little wacky, but what they do is they put me in a tent and then they're chanting these things. And then, oh my gosh, it helped so much. And all I need to do is do this chant every day. And then my eating disorder is going to be gone because I know it's crazy, but it worked. Because we'll find stuff that just is like weirder and weirder to try to fix our eating disorders because we get that little glimpse of the placebo. It doesn't mean it's working. When you glimpse the magic, when you glimpse the freedom, it doesn't mean that it's working. It just means that your brain is tricked for a minute into thinking that you're better because of the placebo effect. That's what's happening, you guys. And I know it's so confusing, but let's clear up the confusion. And guess what? This happens all the time with our clients. It happens with us too. Because a lot of times the people who come to us, they've, for the first time, realized and heard somebody say they could be done with their eating disorders. They've been in a world where you're broken, there's all this stuff wrong with you, you're just going to have an eating disorder for the rest of your life. And then, somebody will start watching my videos and they'll be like, wait, I cannot have an eating disorder anymore? No way. Whoa, big new idea. And then I get these amazing emails. Oh my gosh, I'm cured. I'm done. Oh, this is somebody typing really frantically. It's so amazing. Like all I needed to know was that information and now I'm cured. Okay, cool. We're celebrating with you. And how did you get there? How is this going to be sustainable? And what are you going to do to really know this is lasting? So for instance, when we start working with somebody, we know exactly what works. Like we've freed hundreds and hundreds of people from their eating disorders. But a phenomenon, it doesn't always happen. The placebo effect doesn't always happen. But for some people, a good portion of people who we start working with, that first week of the program is like magic. They're like, oh my gosh, this is the first time in 20 years that I haven't binged for a week. I haven't even wanted to. The urges are gone. Lydia, your program is amazing. I'm cured. And I love that. And we want to give them a hug and we want to say that's awesome. And we give them a high five. And that is the time to do the work. So then we say, okay, that's all great. But here's what we're going to teach you how to do to be done with your eating disorder. But I am done with my eating disorder. Okay, cool. But let's just practice this for fun. Let's just do this stuff while you're feeling so high and awesome. Let's do this stuff just for fun, just practicing it. Oh, okay, Lydia, well, I'm cured. I'm totally cured, but I'll do that anyway, because I guess that's what you're showing me to do. And I said I'd be coachable. Okay, I'll do that thing. And what we do is we have people practice the thing that's actually going to get them free forever while they're feeling so great with the placebo effect. And then the magical thing happens of everything comes crashing down and they binge again. And this is what's different, is that it's really unexpected because I thought they were cured, but then they binge again. But then because they've been practicing the things that actually work, they're like, whoa, I thought I would never binge again. And then I did. And then I actually did the thing that you were teaching me. And I just stopped mid-binge. And I've never done that before. And that's the thing that's lasting, you guys. You've got to know what you're doing. You've got to know how to do it, not try to find the magic and hope that it sticks and ride on the placebo effect for the rest of your life. But you've got to be able to have the tools and the skill in real life to end a binge, mid-binge, before a binge, whenever you want. But that is the thing that's lasting, because then the placebo doesn't come back. Like they're not like, oh, I'm instantly cured. Now they know that they're done, and they know that they're done forever, but because of what they did. Not some sort of magic, but because of their skill. And that's one reason why our clients can have results for the rest of their life, is because they're not looking for something to click and last. We're actually teaching them a skill of how to be done. And that's what you've got to have. You've got to give up on the placebo effect, and you've got to be able to know what to do to be done forever and to have that skill, because then the fear is gone. That's why our clients are like, man, like if I ever binged again, I mean, I don't know that I would, but I guess I could. I would just know how to stop. I would know how to, oh man, I guess I'm binging. I guess I'll just stop now. Like they have security in that skill. And so it doesn't matter how they feel, and it doesn't matter if they found the right thing. Like they already have that skill. They don't have to look for that magic anymore, because they create their own magic. They create their own freedom. And that is the only thing that lasts. The only thing. I mean, we've had so much experience with this. If there was something else that worked better, we would do that, because everything we do is based on the data of what actually works. And that's why you've got to have somebody to support you through that time where you're feeling all like woohoo placebo, because what happens is when you are on the placebo effect and you think you're done, and then everything comes crashing down, and you haven't practiced the things in that interval when you felt so good that are actually permanent and lasting, well, then you're just crushed and you don't know how to get back out of that. That's why we'll have people that'll just like come across some book that was just like life-changing for them, and they might ride that for 6 months of the placebo effect. Yeah, the things clicked in my brain, and I just know exactly how to be done, and you know, I'm cured from my eating disorder. And then when they crash hard, because they don't know how to get that back. They have no skills there. Now they're just in this really dark place where they acted and thought like they were done, and now things are worse than ever. So that is a really important thing to understand. I just want to be totally clear with you guys. You've got to have that skill that you're learning. The only way that this is sustainable, the only freedom that's sustainable, is knowing why it works, seeing how it works, and knowing that you can do it anytime. And that it has to work when things aren't easy. Yeah, when you find some magic and everything feels easy and you have no urges to binge, of course you're not binging. It's not hard not to binge. This is a really key thing that we celebrate big time with our clients, is when they come to a point where it's not easy. It's not easy at all. All the things that you say, I'm going to put this in quotes, triggered, because anyway, we'll do a different video on why triggers don't exist. But, you know, when the things that used to always set them into binging, you know, always used to, you know, the sort of situations where, man, there was no way I'm not binging if these things line up. And they'll be in like the hardest situation ever, and nothing can make them binge, because the circumstances don't matter. They have the skill that they can be able to at any time just get right out of that binge mode and move on with their lives and just deal with the issues at hand instead of going back into this eating disordered place. It's got to work when it's not easy. And so there was actually, there was a woman in our program. It was really beautiful what she shared with us. Is she's like, you know what? Like, I had the hardest day of my life. Like, it just happened to be like, man, she had a bunch of really hard stuff happen all at once. She's like, it was like the hardest day of my life today. And in the past, that would have been weeks upon weeks of binging. Like, it would have just been so hard, and it would have been so awful. And she's like, yeah, I'm really sad. Yeah, I'm really discouraged. Yeah, this is like the hardest day of my life. And it hasn't even occurred to me to binge. Why would I do that? Why would I eat all of this food and make myself sick when I'm having the hardest day of my life? I just need to deal with some stuff. But she's like, there wouldn't have been a way otherwise. And for her, that was such a huge confirmation of the skills that she was learning. Because if she can be free on the hardest day of her life, then all the rest is just easier than that. But she's the one who gets to be in charge of that. She's not looking for something to click. She's not looking for some magic. She got the help and she got the skill that she needed to be able to know exactly in her life how to do that. So if you guys want some help with that, I mean, this is an amazing community. Be part of this. Continue to share. I love all of your comments. This is beautiful. But if this is something that you guys really want in your lives, to be able to have something that is sustainable, that's not dependent on the circumstances. If you want to just stop living the lie of that placebo effect and stop chasing that one time that it worked, and if I can just do it again, because I got to tell you, like, you can do that for the rest of your life. Like, there are women who will live for 40 years and then on their deathbed, they'll still be looking for that thing that could have just, brought that magic back. I just don't want you guys to be, searching for the end of the rainbow, because it's not a great life. You can do it if you want. But if you want something absolutely real, what you can do is you can go to lifewithlydia.com/apply. There's a calendar page there where you can actually book a free session with us. And we're going to help you with the foundation of getting this going, like this really sustainable freedom from the inside out. So we get that foundation of freedom. We're going to get clarity on the truth of what's happening. Most people with an eating disorder have never looked at the truth of what's happening. A lot of them don't even know how to see the truth of what's happening because they're just inside their own head. So we're going to get clarity on that, clarity about what freedom actually means in your own personal life, and then any sort of, missing pieces to get you there so we can close that gap. So you can go to lifewithlydia.com/apply and book a session with us. If there are any openings, get on the waiting list. If not, I know that there's huge demand, but we're going to get to everyone. Yeah, I'll declare it. We're going to get to everyone. Like, if you haven't had a session with us and you really want to be done with your eating disorder, this is not for everyone. If this is not like a #1 priority for you, please don't book that time. If you don't know that you are going to 100% be there and show up for yourself, don't book that time. Like, there are too many women who have been looking for 20, 30 years for a solution, and they're ready for something real. That's who we want to talk to. If that's not you, there's no judgment. Just leave those sessions open for those who are absolutely committed to being done. So lifewithlydia.com/apply. That will get you to that place to book a free session with us. And thanks for being here, you guys. You are fantastic, and we will talk soon. This is Lydia, the lifestyle coach, signing off. Mwah.